Hey, what's up everybody? It's your boy Showtimedr. I'm back. I'm here to give you guys a comparison video because Epic 7 just announced that they're releasing sometime in November. I'm hoping after I move, but we'll see how it goes. So anyhow, those of you guys that either used to play Knights Chronicle or you still kind of play Knights Chronicle, I want to give you guys a comparison and give you my thoughts on which game does what better, etc. And it's not a clean sweep, by the way. There's no clean sweeps here, so let's go ahead and start. So we'll start with the music. Here's a Knights Chronicle. You know, it's kind of like some type of piccolo flute, whatever's going on there. And that's not bad. It's not bad music. So this is the Epic 7 opening theme. Kind of gives you that, I think it's a bit softer, but it kind of gives you that movie. You know, like, uh-oh, there's some epic stuff that's gonna go down. Pun intended. So let's go ahead and click in here. So now I'm gonna compare the lobby screens and the ease of access. So the Epic 7 lobby screen, we'll start with that first. This guy back here, he's basically... Oh, they're gonna give me the loading banners. Hold on. Knock it off. Knock it off. They got all their event banners going on. Alright, so... This guy in the back here, he's kind of the shop vendor. So you come to him. You can level him up so that he gets more and more rare loot. And he kind of has a mishmash of stuff. Usually some friend points. If you're lucky, some summon tokens on occasion. And then... you know, some fodder, some gear, etc. So that's kind of cool, because Knights Chronicle, most of the store stuff, aside from the pay-to-win store that you can go to, has to do with, like, guild shop, etc., and that's in the town, so... But in general, I think that the lobby screen overall in Epic 7 definitely... You know, because you basically got them in a pub here, and here's your current party over here at this table. Characters that you can recruit, you just got to satisfy certain conditions. And granted, guys, this is the Korean version, because the global version is not out yet, so, but... And by the way, all the characters at this table, there's some of them that are actually pretty damn good. Like this guy, actually pretty good healer. / buffer. That's the character you get at the beginning. The trap, by the way, this is a trap. And then Silk over here is actually one of the better archers in the game, DPS-wise. So very coveted. She has a lot of skills that are useful, but I'll get to that some other time. So then we can go to the passive farm screens. Let's go ahead and go out to both here. Now, Knights Chronicle. The only real passive farm, I mean, you can get stuff from the towns, but the passive farm is going to be... in fact, you know what? Hold on. I'm going to extend the Knights Chronicle screen a bit. The passive farm is basically this gold mine that it only lets you store 3 hours worth of gold. Now, by contrast, in Epic 7, rather, the middle building here is your gold / crystal premium currency farm. So you can actually come over here. You can upgrade the damn thing. You can't really upgrade the mine other than... oh, you can upgrade the mine, but just to level 10, and I think it gets you just more total gold, not more storage, not more per hour or anything. In this case over here, you can actually upgrade the total per storage, the per hour generation, and if I upgrade this thing on the right, that would actually give a 50%. In fact, I'll show you guys here, because I can kind of read it. So right now it's a 5% chance to get 200% farm. And then as you can see here, you upgrade it, eventually it becomes 50%. So basically 50% chance to get 200% farm. 200% farm, by the way, don't get it twisted. That's 27 crystals and 108,000 gold. Right now it's only 5%, so... And of course we're having connection issues. But yeah, so, and then that charges up over 8 hours, so it actually gives you more leeway as opposed to losing out on potential farm on your Knights Chronicle building. But then also, you can come over here. There's fodder you can make, there's upgrade materials you can make. And then upgrading this, you can upgrade all the buildings in this, by the way. You can upgrade, like, the chance for higher rarity, how many bays you can have to upgrade, etc. So it actually works out pretty good. And you can actually just straight up buy things like this right here. So if I really want an Evomon, this is all this currency is used for. Then I can get one, or I can just wait the time period. So that's pretty cool. And then down here on the lower left in the Epic 7 screen, this is actually where you send your characters to missions. Kind of a passive XP boost, and then you can get whatever farming thing. It's either gold. It's not taking my clicks for some reason. Yeah, the game's probably lagging again. Well, anyways, there's gold. There's the currency I just showed you. That is the farm currency. I don't know how we ended up back there. Alright, well, the building doesn't want to work. But there's the farm currency, and then you can upgrade more. And that will unlock the other currencies. I forget exactly what they are. I want to say one of them's like PvP. And one of them's like... Oh yeah, one's PvP, and this one... I forget exactly what this is, but it's one of the upgrade materials that you use. So... Anywho, and then over here, this is your smithy. So your smithy, you can choose to... You can farm the currency. The currency's up here. Well, I'll show you where all the farming stuff is later when I compare the farming places. And you can upgrade your chances of getting rare currency, how much material it takes, how much it costs, you know, bring that down. And then you can build stuff based off of, you know, armor, helmets, etc. And then you can also come over here. This up here kind of shows you the set bonuses. So the first one is attack damage 35%. Second one is life, 15%. The third one is armor, 15%. And then likewise, you can keep going. So these set bonuses are speed, crit chance, and crit damage. And over here, it's all the crazy stuff like counter, life steal, etc. So some pretty gnarly stuff. So you can kind of, depending on the character, because some characters, they benefit more from speed, like a lot of the archers. Some of the characters, they benefit more from attack. Some characters, they have enough attack, but you can choose to give them like life up so that they can sustain themselves. Life drain is 20%, by the way, for the bonus. And then this building, they just haven't unlocked it yet. It's something to do with alchemy, but it just hasn't been unlocked as of now, so... advantage to Epic 7 when it comes to passive farm in this game. Now your character screens, let's go ahead and get to them here. Let me go ahead and switch to the Epic Knights Chronicle music. You guys can enjoy that samba there. So that this screen is going to be a little bit harder for me to compare for you guys, but I'm going to do it anyways. So... basically, like, let me go to a particular team member here. Team member, I sound like I'm at like a... at like a freaking store or something. Alright, so, when you get to this screen, there's not really gear in Knights Chronicles, there's gear in Epic 7. Epic 7 also has... like, you know what, let me turn that music down a bit. Epic 7 also has, in fact, I can read it for you guys. I can read most of it. Just let me pretend like I'm switching gear. Alright, so, from the top, here's what the gear selection is. It's, what all these on the left say, rather. These are all stats. This is attack. This is defense. This is your life. This is your attack speed. This is your percentage chance to crit. This is the total crit damage that you do. This is your chance to inflict debuffs. You can't actually get additional chance to inflict debuffs in this game, which is pretty great. This is your chance to resist debuffs. And then I was... oh yeah, the last one is team bonus damage. So there's a follow-up maneuver in this game, in Epic 7, to where you have a chance to... if someone attacks, you have a chance to follow up, and this is your damage bonus. And you can tweak that with certain gear and stuff. Now, Knight's Chronicle, the only thing you really have to tweak your characters for the most part once you've upgraded them all the way is actually your runes. And to a lesser extent, your costume badges, but mostly it's your runes. And Epic 7 as well actually has a little rune system as well. But it's more in the lines of upgrading your gear. So you can do plus, I forget what, I think it's plus 15 as well. And then the runes in Knight's Chronicle, they can be upgraded to plus 15. But in Knight's Chronicle's case, they give you this ridiculous system to where it's like you only have a 15% chance to get a plus 13 rune spending this much gold. Whereas in Epic 7, you know, if you choose to, you can farm these stones up, or you could sacrifice old gear. And then it'll give you the stat bonus over here, along with which stats you're getting. And it actually, from level 0 to 6 on your gear, it actually adds randomly stats. So you might get like something you really want for a character, like debuff, chance, or speed, or whatever as a substat. But you can have more substats on this than you can on, like, say, a rune here, down in Knight's Chronicle. Trying to see, I guess it's not showing the mouse when I go to Knight's Chronicle. Hold on, let me go mess with that. Alright, we got it. So like I said, you know, you can only get 3 substats on your characters. And this one, like, this is a legendary piece of gear, rated as the top tier gear in this game. You can have 4, but you can probably have 4 on, like, maybe a purple piece of gear. Let's see if I can find one we can go check. Well, I'd have to upgrade this to 6, but most likely you can. Now, the issue with both these games actually do the same thing. If I want to remove a rune and I want to keep it, it's going to cost me a certain amount of gold. Same thing with Epic 7. If you want to remove one of your pieces of gear or your relic, it's going to cost you a certain amount of gold. I'll show you guys here. See, it would be 5,000 for that right there. Versus if I just wanted to replace this, then I could just choose to replace it if I want to. And then you can choose whether you just replace it or you spend the gold from that screen as well. But overall, in general, there's more things for you to gear for your characters in Epic 7. Now, upgrading, that is an issue I actually have with Epic 7. Not that it's necessarily a bad system. The system itself is okay. The problem I have with it is, and this is something that Knight's Chronicle actually, it's a less of a hassle. Evomon, in this game, they are basically, same thing, it works the same way. You get a character of a certain star level, you can put them in, and then eventually you can get your character to 6 stars. The purple stars, by the way, is the same thing as purple stars in this Knight's Chronicle as well. Now, in order to get purple stars in Epic 7, you have to go farm a dungeon and get these crystals, and it's pretty easy to do. They're pretty plentiful, and you can actually exchange them in your guild as well. If someone, say, needs a certain crystal, then you can give that to them, and that's going to give them bonus guild currency, which is actually a pretty cool thing. We'll get the guilds later on. But the problem in this game is the upgrade material are these wolves you see right here. But, like, let's say I want to take him from 4-star to 5-star. Well, as long as he's max level, that's fine. It's level 40. But when I do that, let's see if I have enough. When I do that, he's going to become a level 41 5-star wolf, to where I now manually have to run him. Because you can't just upgrade from 5-star to 6-star in this game. I have to manually run him from level 40 to level 50 using, most people, they do it with event missions, such as the Halloween event that's going on right now. But it takes some grinding, it takes some time, and there is an auto button in this game, but they skip treasures. There is no, like, you know, do dungeon X amounts of times to get XP or whatever, like... There's none of that in this game. And same thing with Knight's Chronicle. But, alright, we're switching music back. Now, that is kind of an issue for me, just because it's going to be such a pain in the ass to level things. But say la vie, you know. It's like one of the few flaws I've found with this game so far. Now, also, I would like to say, you know, there's no way to show this, but the way that the characters work in Epic 7 versus Knights Chronicle. Knights Chronicle has this weird convoluted system, especially with their passives, to where they're like, a lot of the meta heroes have passive revive, which is weird. Like, I've never seen a game rely on the revive mechanic so much as Knights Chronicle does. Now, guess how many, I'll give you guys 10 seconds. Guess how many characters in Epic 7 have a revive? Either a self-revive or a cast revive. Dun, 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 dun. One fucking hero. Now, they might have added more since I've been paying attention, or maybe there's one I just never seen before, but the ones I've seen, one. And that tells me that they are serious about balancing their game when it comes to the health bar. Because it's kind of ridiculous in Knights Chronicle, especially when we were beginning. You know, we used to run like triple Rue, or excuse me, double Rue, and like Sid or Ramu, whoever, another reviver. And the dungeons would be putting out so much damage against us, but we would just cheese it, or the revive, and it's just like, after a while, it's just like, that isn't really skill. And then eventually we get to the point with our DPS to where, you know, we get rid of one of the revivers, and then eventually you can get rid of almost all the revivers if you really want to. So it's kind of like this weird swing of, oh, we gotta abuse the revive or resolve mechanics, and then bing, we don't need them anymore, and there's not really that much in between. And I don't like that. Personally, I don't like that. I don't like a game that tells me that the enemy's gonna go through your health bar 3, 4, 5 times in a dungeon because fuck you, you know? Like, there's really no good reason for it. And in this game, it's actually very nice to have, in Epic 7, it's very nice to have a health bar and be like, okay, this is my health bar. You can heal, you can buff, you can do that, but this is your health bar. You gotta take care of it. There's no cheesing it, there's no... Or very little, I guess. There's very little cheesing it, there's very little... You know, you gotta think about things like defense, you gotta think about things like lifesteal, you gotta think about things like dodge, etc. So... And debuffs as well, pushing enemy turns back, etc. That stuff's really cool. And in general, the character selection overall is very good. Like this girl on the left here, or excuse me, on the right, Silk. She is an archer that can delay turns. She can haste other heroes. And she has AoE, but all of her stuff is based on speed. Like her damage is based on speed, so it's not just straight damage, like the speed stat, rather. Now this guy right here, he's a healer slash buffer. Buffs are actually really powerful in Epic 7. Like a defense buff or an attack buff, etc. So that, but he has a... Or his stats are based on, I believe it's health. Yeah, his stats are based on his health. So there's a couple of healers in the game that's based on their attack. He's based on health. The best healer in the game is based on health, etc. And then the girl that's right next to him, this is Secret, she is a very crazy bleed target. I actually ended up giving her life regen because she does so much damage. She has attack ignore to a certain point as long as the enemy's bleeding. Kind of like how Cynthia and Morgan work to a point from Knights Chronicle. And then this girl on the left, Ravi, she can basically off-tank, and she life-steals passively, so you're putting as much as you can into her damage because she's regenerating a percentage of her life that whole time while she's doing it. So, and then just to show you guys how the summon looks real quick before we get into the other aspects of the game. I just want to show you guys how beautiful this animation is. Just overall. And who knows, maybe we'll get lucky. Probably not. Yeah, so that's a 3-star summon. If it's a 4-star summon, the book's gonna glow. If it's a 5-star summon, one of the floating kids is gonna come for the right or the left. So this girl, she's alright. Nothing crazy special. And then every time you summon, you get a little bit of this currency. You can spend that at some of the stores and stuff. Alright, so let's go to... just in the lobby in general, there's just so much to do. Like, I wish I could, like, show you guys it all and then cover, I mean, I've done a lobby video, so you people that play already, you should know. This is the shopping screen. You know, there's your premium content stuff, but you can buy, like, for 950 crystals, you can get a 10 summon book, etc. That's stamina, the horses, these two things are for different dungeons, etc. And then right here, this is a different currency shop. Remember that currency I just showed you? So you can come down here, buy a mandrake if you want, or whatever. And then this is the friendship point shop. Friendship points, you see how ridiculous many I got. So I'm not really spending it, but you can come down here every day, buy yourself some more stamina, buy yourself some more PvP tries, which of course I don't really need right now. And then these things, this is a random chest. I'll go ahead and demonstrate for you guys. It will give you randomly a tier 2 to tier 5 relic, which is a necklace, or excuse me, not relic, a necklace or a ring. So, and you're hoping that it's going to be as high tier as possible, as well as a purple at least, if not a red. I'm not even sure. I think I did get a red there one time. Now these stones, they're for upgrading the rings and the necklaces. So, which is actually fairly hard to get that currency normally. So you run this dungeon. This is the exploration dungeon currency. And this is the PvP currency. So you can come over here, get a mandrake thing. The mandrake things, you grow them at that farm I showed you earlier, and then they're used up for skill ups for most of the characters. More stamina here. You know, freaking T5 life axe. You know, you save up enough points, so... And then this is upgrading swords, helms, etc. Boots, armor. So really good stuff there. And then there's your premium currency stuff. I won't get too much into that. Now we're going to compare the guild screens while we're at it. I'm going to show you guys, because I am a guild leader in both games, so I can show you guys a little bit of what's going on in both the guilds. So we'll go into the Knights Chronicle guild first. The Knights Chronicle guild, for the most part, you upgrade your skills to 10, and then you apparently never touch it again because there's nothing to do, which actually astounds me by now. Like, I could understand if you don't want these skills leveled up, but they should have given us more stuff by now. Like, you know, 10% more gold drops, 10% better chance, or 5% better chance at getting a hero drop or something. Like, it's just a system that it's just like they forgot about, and it just didn't, there's a freaking Amber Alert going off. It's just like they don't care about this system. They just put a place in, and then they don't do anything with it. Now the mission rewards, this is a good thing. The mission rewards on Knights Chronicle, you know, you do these quests every day, and then you get points, and all your guildies do it as well. And then eventually, you know, it opens up all these chests and stuff, and it's reward stuff. That's an excellent thing. That's a really cool thing Knights Chronicle does. Now combat, there's guild dungeons and guild battle. Guild battle is hot garbage. Only reason you do guild battle is to get runes and Ian. But it is not a fun mode at all. It's just tanky, annoying delay. Now the guild dungeon, overall the guild dungeon's really good in Knights Chronicle. The problem is they should mix it up a bit more, add some of the newer advents. You know, add a hard mode. I've made these suggestions and they just fall on deaf ears. Now I'm gonna teach you guys how the guild screen works in Epic 7. So all these guys at the table, those are the guys that are in your guild. It's just pretty cool. And whatever their friend unit is right now. So this green button, you use it. And that's kind of the, I guess I already did it. It's the check-in button. And then you can come up here to the menu. Now this is the place I was telling you guys earlier where you can exchange, like, oh, I need X thing, and most of it's for like skill ups, or yeah, actually most of it is for skill ups. So, like me, I put in a request here for yellow crystals. These guys, they've all moved on because they play this way more than I do, so they're doing like all the super high-end upgrade your skill to level 6 stuff. And that's pretty funny. And once again, if you give these guys what they're requesting, you get guild currency to spend at the guild shop. Now this right here, this is your typical, you know, you donate gold, get X amount of currency. And then these things, these are time-released missions. So while you're on the map, you'll get randomly a spawn that'll say, you gotta do this mission within 2 hours. It's usually a place you've already run. You just go there, you run it again, you get these orbs. And we just, I'll show you guys at the guild shop once we get to it. We just basically got our first guild chest. It was like random loot. It wasn't that great, actually. I was expecting better for 300, but... oh, well, maybe someone got something epic. Now, this is the guild shop, so you take your guild currency, you come over, you can get some fodder. This is once a month. The mandrake seed is every week, so you pay $250, and this is like currency stuff, so... or a random chest thing over here. And then over here, this is where I can come as the guild leader, and I can decide, yo... that's the time release currency thing, by the way, I was telling you guys about. Like, yo, I'm gonna give you guys... a discount on healing your hero, a bonus to gold drops, and a bonus to XP. And that got sent to everyone in the guild, guys, and that's from the pool of money that has been donated to the guild. So for the next 8 hours, when they use those scrolls, boom, they get all those buffs, and that's pretty good. And then these are your guild quests, so you come over here, whatever it says, it'll be things like kill X amount of creatures, certain types of creatures, collect X amount of whatever, do 10 farms or whatever's going on, and then they'll give you all this currency, and it's pretty good. These are weekly missions. They reset. The weekly missions here are much better than the guild missions in Knights Chronicle, even though the guild missions in Knights Chronicle aren't that bad. And then, you know, so overall the guild in Epic 7 is way more interactive, way more better. There's no guild battle, and to be perfectly honest, I don't give a fuck. Because every time I've seen guild battle executed, with the exception of twice in a mobile game, it's been completely fucking garbage or just like a chore. Like, it's super annoying, so. Now, I'm going to show you guys PvP real quick before we get to the farming dungeons and combat. Now, PvP, Knights Chronicle. Let me go ahead, I'll show you guys. What I got going on this week. Finally put my man David up, by the way. So here's what PvP battle looks like at Knights Chronicle. Trying to think if I want to fight that team. Yeah. Why not? So let's go. And then I'll go ahead. I hit the wrong screen, by the way. Queue up for Alright, so PvP battle in Knights Chronicle, it's basically like, you know, turn-based. Whatever's going on is going on, so... This guy... Well, I guess I shouldn't really explain. I'll show you guys and then judge for yourselves. Which one do you think is better? I'm sorry guys, I might lag a bit just because I got two emulators going at the same time. So yeah, let's get rolling. I want to kill that Tayo before he freaking ults with +9. I forgot about Resolve. I guess Tayo's getting stunned. So the combat Knights Chronicle, really good graphics actually, pretty fun. Only issue with it has always been, hold on. Alright, so we're gonna hit a delay on the Ramu here. Although he's just gonna get back up. And let's take Tayo down. Actually, let's focus Ramu. Shoot, I should have 2'd. I don't think this is gonna work, unfortunately. But oh well, at least I can get Tayo down. There's 10 stacks. So you see, the Combat Knights Chronicle has always been one of its stronger points. Alright, we're gonna clean up now. So, you know, this is your basic PvP, your basic combat in this game. They got beautiful animations on their ultimates, but most people skip them just because they take so long. The animations get a little too crazy with, like, a guy's about to do a charge attack, but he has to jump in the air, do like 15 pirouettes, jump through a lion hoop. And then he does his thrust and attacks, so... Alright, so that's what PvP looks like in Knights Chronicle now. I'm gonna show you guys what PvP in Epic 7 looks like, so let's take on... Okay, by the way, one thing with PvP in Epic 7, you can actually fight NPC teams and they give you bonus crystals, they pop up, usually it's like 2 a day. I've been slacking on doing it, but you can actually do that, but I'm gonna go ahead. Actually, we might as well take on an NPC team, because I got no ranking. Actually, screw it, let's just fight one of these. So here's what the animation in Epic 7 looks like. By the way, the boob jiggle is very real. Yeah, I'll try to show you guys some of the ultimates. In fact, screw it, let's just start with an ultimate. You see how, like, beautifully animated that is? Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead, try to... So that was putting up a bleed and an anti-healing effect. So this guy Elson, I told you he's a good buffer. He buffs defense and attack at the same time, so he's pretty sick. So this guy's probably gonna ult. He has no choice. By the way, that guy on the right is your starter character. This game is meant, according to the developers, to be beat with 3-star characters. Which is cool, but like the 4- and 5-star characters in this game feel so epic though. Alright, let me show you guys another ult. So this ult, the more bleeds and debuffs that are on the target, it starts ignoring defense more and more. And now that wasn't quite the same as the Knights Chronicle one I showed you, because I was fighting 5 heroes, but normally it's a 4-on-4. And normally it's a pretty fast endeavor, like you're not doing like, you know, in some cases NKC 60, 70, 80 turns fighting in combat, so you can usually knock these out pretty fast. Now, heroes in this game, the combat, heroes work a lot of different ways in Epic 7. There are characters that have a passive for one of their skills, like it'll be like a charge up or like a life steal percentage, etc. And so some characters like Ravi on the left there, she only has a 1 and a 3 she can use, and her 3 is only available when her 1 gets charged, or excuse me, when her 2, which is her bar, gets charged up enough. The more that her bar is charged, the harder she's hitting, and vice versa, which means that the harder that she's life stealing as well. And you consume it to do her 3, but it's a big AoE attack, does a good amount of damage, and it has a pretty high chance to stun, but you gotta weigh that against, but you're gonna go back down in damage. Do you really need that lifesteal? And are there like debuffs to healing or debuffs to her attack? And all that stuff really plays with her, and it's the same way with all these other characters. Now, events-wise, let's go ahead, I'll show you guys. Well, actually, before I get there, let me show you farming things you can do in both games. So other than Time Space Void in Knight's Chronicle, you're typically locked. Like you're locked to, you know, you can only do so much of gold, you can only do so much of badges, Evo, and if you want to, you can spend the tickets to reset it, which kind of a pain in the butt, but you can still do it. Now, in Epic 7, there are limits as well, like for instance, although this is the weekend, so on the weekend everything's open, but for instance, this first dungeon, this is where you get all your purple star material. Normally it's just one of the elements is open a day. Oh, my bad, it's Korean time, so it's Monday over there. So yeah, today only the blue elemental thing's open, and the farther down you go, the better the rewards are. My bad, it's purple. So this is Dark Heroes, so all your Dark Heroes will benefit from running this dungeon. Then there's fire, water, wind, and light. Now, so that's the limitation that's there, but on the weekends, like I said, it's all open, so you can choose to grind really hard or get whatever you want on the weekends when your free time is up. And then this dungeon right here, this is an endless tower dungeon. So the farther down you go, the better the rewards are. But there's actually some really hard challenges in here, so the same combination of stuff isn't always going to work in here, because you got some people that are immune to debuffs, you got some people that they're life stealing, so you really need to land that anti-heal. You got some groups in here that sometimes it's better to take out the full group rather than just the boss, because if you kill the boss, you kill the whole party. And so the Eternal Tower is actually a really cool part of this game, with some amazing rewards, by the way, including legendary gear, as well as a lot of summon tokens and upgrade materials, etc. Now this dungeon over here, this is where it does two things. It drops upgrade materials for, remember that smithy I showed you earlier with all the 3 different places? This will drop the materials that you use to smith there, but it also has a chance to drop the actual gear just straight up of like whatever dungeon you're farming. So like the attack, life, defense dungeon, or the speed, crit dungeon, etc. You can choose whichever one you want to do, and they have different elements depending on what you're trying to do. I actually have the hardest time with this lady, the water lady, because she splits into multiple beings when you fight her. And then over here, this is your exploration dungeon. So your exploration dungeon, it's pretty much, it's going to give you a certain tier of loot. And then, I'm actually not sure how the unlock process works on this. I might just have to go be a higher level or whatever, but you clear 100% of the zone, and there's various bosses and treasure chests all throughout the zone, so you can go and get them. You complete a little bit at a time, and it kind of has the Darkest Dungeon thing, to where the longer you go, the harder it is to do everything, because your guys are getting, you know, fatigued and weakened, and it starts to play on their stats a little bit, so you can't just run through and do everything with like a super team, because even a super team will get wrecked if you get the minus 50 happiness in these dungeons. So it's pretty cool stuff. And then you get to, this is something that they added recently within the last month. It is like a training grounds, and you can come here, and they actually addressed a lot of the upgrade bottlenecks that people were having when it came to upgrading necklaces, rings. You can actually come over here, not just go to the store and farm up a lot of that material. There's also stuff for like weapons, etc. So it was actually a really cool added dungeon. Really good stuff in here, and it's actually fairly hard too, trying to beat certain bosses in there. And there's different ones that are open daily with like different groups, and some groups they have specialties in certain things, etc. So now another feature of this game, that you see this banner up here in the right corner, top right corner. That's basically you can click on some of them. They'll give you event information and stuff, but there's also some of those things you go to, and after you complete certain things every day, like you spend 40 stamina or you run X dungeon 5 times or whatever, use a friend's character X amount of times, then they give you a daily bonus of stamina, friend points, and then more long-term bonuses. They will give you, you know, upgrade materials, summon tokens, etc. So just really amazing stuff that they do with there, and I'm hoping they replicate that for the US version. And they're not like KC, where they're just like, up until recently, like, well, F the US people, will give them like, you know, an Evomon or something, and we'll give the Koreans and the Indian guys that tune into our streams 100 crystals. And it's just like, well, what about us? So now we're going to get into events. Epic 7 totally kicks KC's ass in events. They've had events going the entire time I've been playing it on the Korean version, including, because I went in about, I think I was within the first week of their launch, maybe a week after. They've had events going the whole time. Now let me actually show you what the event is over here. Now KC, they got this bastard event, you know, it was the Haspile event, and they're adding Halloween pumpkins, and you can spin it over here at the Halloween event summon, and it's whatever. But, you know, we're running Advent dungeons that have been in the game, you know, for a long time, for the most part. I just clicked the wrong thing. So over here, to get to the event dungeon, you just click over here where this big pumpkin lady is. That's always where the events are going to be. Now the events, they have their own currency that drops and their own stores and stuff. So, like you see over here, I don't know if this is going to be something that's coming in later, but maybe they're previewing it for you. Maybe I just haven't unlocked it. But this is, so you come over here. Now, if I wanted to, they have like actual launch movies, by the way. Like, check this out. This happens in most of the chapters for the game as well. Although usually it's an in-game cutscene, but... And they fully animate this stuff. Every chapter, because you guys remember that opening cutscene for KC, and then we never saw any animation other than Ultimates again? You know, that's not a thing so much here. In this game, they always have animated stuff going on. So right here, this is like your shop. I don't know if it's just not going to load. There it is. This is your shop. There's, of course, titters over here. And so this is the currency that drops, and you're going to go ahead, you know, there's summon tokens, random T2 to T5 chests, Evomon, basically, the wolves, upgrade tokens, gold, etc. So all that stuff's available, and it gets unlocked in segments. You notice that the currency changes. This is the first currency, this is the second currency, this is the third currency, and it's mostly the same stuff. So, and the event, the first event that I did, it had 8 maps, and then there was a hard mode you could click. And then, actually I think it ended up being 24 maps overall. So it had 24 maps, that's plenty of farm, guys, lots of farm. You can run your wolves into eventually when you got your team straight. And then over here, these, if you don't notice, they're kind of like bonuses. So run certain heroes, get certain bonuses. So that's pretty cool. And then it kind of shows you this is your progress on XYZ. I haven't done this event too much right now, but I'll show you guys what it looks like. And then also there's event, what do you call it? Like quests, basically. So you get that, you get all these leaves, gold, whatever. That's all there. Now let's actually go to it. I'll run one, see if I get my ass whooped or not. By the way, guys, in my Discord, which is going to be in the title info, by the way, Epic 7 most days is by far the most active Discord, or tab in my Discord. Some days Dragalia tops it, some days Knights Chronicle tops it, but for the most part, I actually gotta make inventory space. For the most part, Epic 7 is super active in there. So if you're an Epic 7 head, you feel like coming in, asking some questions. We got a full translation team for those of you that are braving the KC version. But we're going to be fully ready to rock when Global comes out, so... But like, think about this and think about Knights Chronicle. What events have we had in Knights Chronicle that are anything like this, you know? Trying to think, maybe the Haspile event. And that's about it, right? And the game's been out for, what was it, 5 months now? And this game, it's only been out like 2-ish months or so in Korea. Maybe a little bit more. I think it's about 2 months. No, it might not even be 2 months. But anyway, so there's a big storyline. Storyline in this game is actually pretty good. I won't give a spoiler. Well, I'll give a slight spoiler alert. It's not really a big spoiler because you see it in the tutorial. But if you don't want to hear it, skip the next like 15 seconds. But basically, the story of Epic 7 is there's a hero group and they've already saved the world. And somehow they get warped back to before they save the world. And then there's all types of like intrigue and betrayal and stuff that happens. It's pretty cool. So if you hit auto, this is what happens when you hit auto. There's going to be stuff that spawns in the background like chests or like power-up nodes or whatever. Your auto will just run right past it. So be sure that if you're autoing, that you check out... check out what's in the background so you don't miss anything for your farming. Let's see what the boss is gonna give us here. But this is, I believe, the second event. It might be the third event. So that was a follow-up right there. Actually, yeah, it was a follow-up actually. So Ravi followed up right after Silk attacked. And there's more storyline here with Titters McGee. But like I told you guys, the boob physics are real, so... Especially on those ultis. Floating pumpkins I'm used. Anyways, let me skip that. And don't get me wrong, guys, I still love Knights Chronicle. Like, I remember the good times with that game, man, and it really just cheeses me how much they just neglect the game. They don't update things, and they don't add new things. The infrastructure that's there, they're just basically like, screw it, like it's there, and but overall, I'll show you guys the world real quick versus like, say, the world in Knights Chronicle. So, not only is there world 1-1 to 10-10, but there are also bonus stages that are kind of hidden. You actually have to satisfy conditions on all the maps. And then there are also entirely, the S is kind of like secret, entirely kind of secret areas that warp around. So like, kind of like how Mario 3 was, like you go in some pipes and before you know it, you're at world 8. And you were screwing around in World 3. So, and then there's also a hard mode. Knights Chronicle, there's hard, normal, and easy mode, but there's a hard mode. And once you get to World 9, by the way, the world in Epic 7 is actually pretty rough overall. Like, you'll run into things that'll whoop your ass. Like, even though you thought you had a great team, you'll run into things that'll just straight stomp you. Like when you see Says the first time, etc. But, World 9 is when it starts to get really crazy. And then World 10 is just like a whole nother level. And then you reset, you get the hard mode. Once you beat 10-10 in Epic 7, that enables Moonlight Shadow Summons. Moonlight Shadow Summon is you can only summon for dark and light characters, which you can't summon for at all at the beginning of the game. So that unlocks like the strongest hero in the game, which is basically Fighter Ken or something like that. It's basically Broly. He looks like Broly from Dragon Ball. And some of the other, there's improved versions of some of the other heroes. So that's how the world works, and there's timed missions and star bonuses, etc. So overall, I would just tell you that the ambience of Epic 7 and the amount that they are not only adding to the game and that they have added from release, but the community outreach is great. The characters, they're all wonderful. The game mechanics are all very solid. And Knights Chronicle, once upon a time, all that stuff was true, and then they just neglected us. So this isn't me saying that I'm never going to play Knights Chronicle. I'm still going to play Knights Chronicle, but for me personally, Epic 7 is going to be my main game once Global comes out. So if you're looking forward to that, man, you know, stay tuned to the channel. Make sure you're checking out the videos, because I am going to go gangbusters on this game. Also, we're going to have a guild. So once the global version comes out, I'll teach you guys everything I know, man. Everything I know. All the stuff that I've been experiencing in this game. So, but that's just your quick and dirty comparison between the two games. So overall, I'd have to say advantage goes to Epic 7. It does have some issues, but overall, super fun. And you know, they don't balance the game around dumb things like self-revive and stuff, which is something I appreciate. So grinding for gear and upgrades in Epic 7 is actually quite a process, and it keeps you engaged, it keeps you focused. So anyways, guys, good luck to everybody that's going to be doing Epic 7 as soon as it comes out. Hopefully, I'm hoping like November 20 something. Because by then I'll be moved. For those who don't know, I'm moving to North Carolina in 2 weeks. So by then I'll be all set up and ready to rock. But otherwise, whenever it comes out, I'm sure it'll come out on like a Thursday or a Friday or something. That's when most games come out in America. So be ready. Pre-register if you haven't pre-registered. They're giving a bunch of good stuff away for that. And let's get ready to rock, guys. I'm excited as hell for this game. So let me know in the comments what you guys think, your experiences with either game. And I will catch you guys next time. Here comes my promo. Yo, I'm Showtime Doctor, Showtimedr. You found my YouTube. Hit like if you enjoyed the content. Also, consider subbing, you know? Why not? I'm gonna say it. Smash that like button, guys. Anyways, check the title info. There's a link to the Discord. You can come in, chop shop, Epic 7, KC, Dragalia Lost, Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. We also got a mobile games regular tab for people that just want to talk about other games, regular games, etc. And I stream on Twitch. I'm about to go stream right now. They got a special event going in Long Dark, which is a regular game I play. Halloween event we're going to go do. So come over there, twitch.tv/ShowtimeDR. Check me out. Stream Knights Chronicle. I'm going to get back into Epic 7, you know, and then when Global comes out, we'll probably be streaming majority Epic 7. A little bit of everything else. So peace out, guys. Have a wonderful Sunday.